Respected Her Highness Rajmata ji, Pramoda Kumari ji, Sri Darshan ji, Professor Murthy ji, Professor Bhushan Patwardhan ji, all dignitaries, dear colleagues, the practitioners, healers came from all across the country in this Dhara event. My colleagues from Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Education, you can see that this event could be the showcasing of how whole of the government approach works. Our Honorable Prime Minister brought in this culture into the governance all across the country, that there is no silos now. All of these people, they work together and deliver. It's a good example, this Dhara event, that I am Secretary AYUSH and participating into an event which is supported by Ministry of Culture and Ministry of Education, and then we all work together. And we are talking about Ayurveda, Indian knowledge system. This is a very good example. And as mentioned by my colleague, Sri Govind Mohanji, that this is a kind of part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, one of the important event as a part of the celebration of not only Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, but also leading to a 1 month long series of events leading to the Ayurveda Day celebration on 23rd of October, that is Dhanteras or Dhanvantri Jayanti. What I am going to talk about this, very briefly, but also wanted to mention something very authentically with all responsible statements, that what is happening and what are the vision. Incidentally, today only, Culture Secretary, Education Secretary, they both are working on finalizing the 2047 vision of social group of ministries. So Ayush, health, sports, culture, education, those are having, is a social group of secretaries group, and we are finalizing this to present in front of the Council of Ministers. So this is the final day, and I was supposed to be there, but I'm in participating here. My colleagues are there. Govind Mohanji and Education Secretary, they are the coordinators. They are finalizing at the same time. This time. So this is very good coincidence that I'm also talking about 2047 perspective. The global positioning. Can I get this document so that I don't use? So, global positioning of AYUSH or Ayurveda is very important for by 2047, and it's not only one aspect but every aspect. It could be medical value travel or heal in India, or providing professionals of traditional medicine across the world, or benchmarking of world class industry, or public health spheres, and so on. Also, academia, like Darshanji mentioned, that people should come to India in Indian universities to learn about the Indian knowledge system, Ayurveda, and others. Then, also, there is another goal for the global positioning is to ensure that these Ayush based expertise, treatments, therapeutics, and practices of not only preventive but also curative, rehabilitative, and holistic health reach to one and all. It is interesting that when we participate into the events or talk to the people who is outside of the Ayush domain, usually what we listen is that we are the people of wellness. So we are restricted to wellness thing. So we are expected that Ayush sector should provide wellness to the people, and there is no sensitization that Ayush can contribute a lot to the curative aspect at even tertiary care level. So that part is to be disseminated and to be strengthened. Then for that, we need to look at this promotion of credible, affordable, accessible, and holistic form of healthcare system, and without inclusion of AYUSH it is not possible. Also, when we look at these all these practices, like in our invocation song also, Darshanji also, I was sitting beside him, he was mentioning, and I was quite impressed with this song, that all this evolution, it came from a very very small contribution from traditional healers, and then it evolved over the centuries and then became a codified science, and now it is time to look at the mechanistic aspects, how it works, and then talking in the terms of the people of science who understands it, and talking in the terms of their understanding, so that we can disseminate, we can reach to the decision makers and large scale community who is engaged into public health delivery system. And lastly, I also want to mention that it's not only R&D, world class R&D inclusion, but also inclusion of technology into AYUSH. So without technology driven thing, I was impressed with these competitions and the area of competitions. That is the future. That without inclusion of technology, we cannot achieve the scaled up sector. So scaling up is also required to have inclusion of technology. When we talk about technology, it is interesting that for a practitioner, when a patient comes to the practitioner, the general mindset or general perception is that these practitioners do not require technology because they are the nadi people, they will take nadi, they are not supposed to use any technology. If they use technology, they are termed as they are doing mixopathy. Actually, we need to change this narrative. Science is everybody's domain, and advancement of science should be used for every different science on the earth. So using of technology is also one of the important aspect for inclusive growth of AYUSH systems and inclusion of AYUSH in large scale public health delivery system and all other sectors. So I will talk about these sectors independently, and I'm sure I will finish my talk in time.
Yes, yes, you are very much in time.
So so what I did, that I tried to make present status and what we can achieve in by 2047. These are the larger goals, but we have a lot of good metrics. So it's not just vision, this is not just illuminating and daydreaming, but it's actually possible. There are some good benchmark, and then we can reach there. Like uh, by now we were able to identify the gaps. What is the gaps of having inclusion of AYUSH systems into public health delivery system. So now we are having this very good model of National AYUSH Mission, National Health Mission working together, and then working together we have helped us to learn a lot, and how to get this into mainstream public health delivery system is also there are paths developed, like since so many years Darsaji and TDU team and lot of NGOs and public civil society is arguing about inclusion of fourth layer of healthcare delivery system, and now it is being seriously discussed, Darsanji, and probably it will get included. So those kind of developments are going on. Then reducing the burden on existing medical care system by appropriate integration of evidence based traditional medicine. When we talk about evidence based medicine, it is interesting that whatever is evidences are there, there are so good, there are many, but generally these mainstream scientists, mainstream practitioners, they don't care, they are not willing to look at that. This is more true than generating evidence. Evidences are there, there is a need of more, but it do not mean that we don't have evidence. So this is like a gap area. We have to visualize that, how to disseminate these evidences to them and how to talk to them, how to create a bridge. And also last is AYUSH as a sports medicine. Recently, with the help of Department of Sports, we were able to declared this yogasana as a sport. It is very new. There was a lot of debate among the yoga community whether yoga can be considered as a sport. But we had a humble argument that we are not talking about the entire yoga. Ashtanga yoga is very big. Yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi is very big. But out of that, we are just talking about asana. So can yogasana can become a sport, a competitive sport, and it was agreed upon. Now Government of India has formally notified as a category of sports. So with all the benefits of having category of sports for the reservation into the education institutions or even getting government job, etc. But more importantly, what we are visualizing is that maybe we can have certain like 2016, 2024 gold medals into the Olympics, and it is being seriously worked upon now. In Indian Games it is coming, in few years it will come in Asian Games, and then it will come in Commonwealth Games, and ultimately by 2034, 2038 it will get included into the Olympics. So visualize that who is better in yogasana? No other than Indians. Sometimes it happens that in Kabaddi Iran won the gold medal once upon a time, but still there is a big scope of having a big chunk of medals in Olympics once it is included. Then also expand infra to plug gaps in secondary and tertiary care hospitals access. Now we have got good benchmark models of tertiary care and secondary care, like in almost all district hospitals there is an AYUSH facility. In private sector there are wonderful tertiary care hospitals, best hospitals. I know one of the leader is here, Rajiv ji. He is having a talk about that. So is also one of the thing. And 2 more minutes. Then so this is about the healthcare. Then industry. In industry, did you know? I will need 2 more minutes, extra 2 more minutes. So did you know that since 2014 the manufacturing industry grew by 6 times? So in 7 years, from $3 billion it became $18 billion industry in 6 years. And now we are visualizing that it will grow multiple times, like 50 times by 2047. And through this calculation, we are also visualizing that it will contribute 5% of GDP of our country in 2047. So this is another benchmark that we are visualizing. Of course, favorable environment is there as of now, but then we are looking at the scale of world-class scale, that is for 2047. AYUSH in the ongoing parallel discussions. So Honorable Prime Minister just recently during SCO meet, he mentioned about having under India's leadership in SCO, he mentioned that we are willing to create a forum for traditional medicine SCO. Similarly, G20, we are also proposing a forum of traditional medicine G20. In BIMSTEC, it is already there. In ASEAN, it is already there. In EU also, there is a separate committee, expert committee, joint working group of Ayurveda and EU. So, a lot of things are happening. But what we want to do is that through these platforms and through one-to-one dialogue, through multilateral dialogue, we want to make sure that this reach to the world, access of these traditional Indian sciences to the world. And also we should not miss about the service industry, medical value travel. And as of now, we have 30% contribution out of 6 billion industry. We are number 12 in the world. We want to become number 1 in the world in 2047 with at least 70% contribution from our sector and having size of at least $50 billion. And then also, if AYUSH industry will not provide the zero waste sustainable solution, then what other industry will provide? So this is also one of the goal. Education, we have reforms, we have upskilling of professionals in multidisciplinary, Darshanji mentioned about that. We have technological infrastructure upgrades. What we are visualizing is that it should be having world-class institutions across the globe, at least one AYUSH institution, top 10 institutions of the world, and at least 33 million professionals and 100 additional center of excellencies. Now, as of now, we have COEs in IITs and IIMs and AIMS, and but there are so many more possibility. Then research. We talked about research, but then our goal is there are so many things have already happened, like WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine recently established in India. But then we want to visualize that at least we should at least achieve 1 or 2 Nobel Prizes in traditional medicine from India. At least 20 to 30 AYUSH based botanicals. As of now, in 75 years, we were not able to develop even one drug to the world. We are talking about 20 to 30. And predictive, preventive and personalized medicine model. That is also one of the goal. Tech enabled AYUSH. I would like to mention that recently, just 2 days before, we have proposed this, AI driven AYUSH sector in ITU focus group. I was in Helsinki the day before yesterday and we have proposed this. There are a lot of things are happening, but then AI driven large scale manufacturing plants and all this India lead 27 is we are visualizing for tech enabled, and at the end this is roadmap. For this roadmap, transforming healthcare delivery system, robust accreditation framework, innovation leadership. That is what we are visualizing, and our Prime Minister says Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan. So we are committed to achieve that from AYUSH sector, and with the whole of the government approach as mentioned, with the goal of One Health. And this One Health have different aspects of having collaborations with different sectors like Ayurveda biology program or different sectors, particularly basic science people. That is what we are visualizing. Thank you so much.